Hi, I'm Mark Miller, the owner of Right Line Trading. Want to show you the AI AutoTrader and a couple of strategy settings that we've been uncovering, and want to share you kind of the details here behind the scenes, what it looks like. So let me get started. Jump over on a different screen here real quick. The disclaimer I want to run this by is so any signals or trading opportunities I might show here today are for educational and demonstrational purposes only. Me or my team, we take no responsibility for any trades that you may take for any wins or losses on your behalf there. If you want to jump into the ring here and do some trading, reach out to a licensed financial advisor before you do that. All right, so let's jump into the chart here and kind of take a look at the strategy and the settings. But before I do that, let me kind of give you a little bit around the chart here and kind of talk a little bit about what I'm sharing here today. So again, this is the AI Auto Trader. It's strategies that we develop on NinjaTrader 8's platform. So we develop trading software here, strategies that are automated that jump in and out of the market here for you automatically. So I had a bot here working today. I had this ES scalper here working for me. Jumped in and out of this market on the ES here. You can see this B long entry, C long entry right here. So those were entries that it did automatically for me on my behalf here and made me a little bit of money today. Made me 700 in this account, 887 in this account. Let me kind of show what these strategy settings are and how they work. A few of them that are a little bit newer. I want to go into a little bit of detail so you kind of understand a little bit more of how they work. Kind of before I do that, let me show you a little bit of how this chart is and what it looks like. So right here is the account. That's very critical when we talk about the strategies. Is we always talk about a strategy or a bot or an account. Really, they're all synonymous. They're the same thing. When we talk about a strategy, it's a really a number of settings that talk about the entire trade. So it's the entry, the exit, the management throughout the trade, also your own account that you're working with. So not only the entry, exit, and the management, but also your account, whether it be a live account or a prop account in this case. So that's what a strategy does. Is it talks? It's really a trading plan. Really, and it executes the entire trading plan for you. Let me kind of show you the settings, but before I do that, kind of show you what this is. So this is the control center. This is NinjaTrader 8 control center. Over here we've got strategies. Here's the accounts. So the way we design strategies is we put the account name, the exact is the strategy. So when we look at our trade performance later, the trade performance goes and looks at the account. Well, we have the strategy delivering the results to that same exact name of the account. So ours are set up to where you have the exact same name. When you go look at it later, it will be the exact same one. So over here, this is my my NinjaTrader brokerage account, one of them. So this account I was trading earlier this morning. Over here is a Rhythmic Trader Pro. This is a funded account from Apex in this case. And over here, I've got a trade copier. So what I'm using is our strategy right here as my leader account. And I'm using this over here to be my followers. So every time this scalper drone right here takes a trade, it will also take a trade in these two accounts. Same exact trade, same exact exit, the whole thing. So that's kind of around the chart. Up here, we're looking at the ES. So this is the S&P 500 contract on the futures market. Some of the indicators that we use here are this VWAP, this yellow line, this yellow dashed line is the volume weighted average price, the VWAP. Very important line when you trade futures is the VWAP. The solid line, this is green in this case, is green solid thick line. That's our 50 period moving average line. And then we call this one our 15, this little dashed line right back here, and it's green in this case. It goes to yellow right here. That's our 15 line. Um, these red big bars and then the little red dashes, the dashes are the pivots, and the big solid bars are called volume zones. So pivots and volume zones, and what those are is where price rejected from in the past, and they're calculated by a time frame. So in this case, you right click on the chart and you can see how it calculates them by what time frame. So in this case, it's using 3 days of data. We like to use so it depends on which which data series you're using, but we typically maybe like 300 bars is maybe a setting that we would use on this particular 4 Unorenco chart. So what that does, it redraws the chart with that data series, and then it goes and redraws that many bars. Bar is another name for a bar is a candle. That's another term for a bar. So these are Unorenco bars or Unorenco candles, similar thing. But so now here is a pivot that was drawn right up here. But it looks like those volume zones took off for the most part. So when you redraw them, you don't see as much action there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into a strategy and start to pick it apart real quick. So I'm going to move it over a little bit so we can get the full view of the strategy. Come do these kind of quick so that we just kind of hit the ones that are a little bit newer and maybe spend a little bit more time on those. But the ones that have been here for a while, I'll just cruise through. So MI type, this is our signal right here for the market internals, our price accelerator diamond right here. So that's running on a 1 minute. The MIP input is the 1 minute. So it's 1 minute right here. So those two go together. Now type, so this is talking about the time frame for these other indicators. So bias, for example. Bias, the type is going to be a second, so it's going to be using a 30-second time frame for bias. Volume zone is going to use an 8-second volume zone time frame. So you can kind of see that the type is now for the other indicators. That's the time frame. So down here, the C2 is a 8-second. Cruising through to the time right quick. So time, if you want to run your bots 24 hours a day, you can set them to the exact same time like I did here. This allows them to run 24 hours a day, right around the clock. As we see at the bottom here, we have a setting in here that you can set to have it exit on session close automatically. And all of our bots close at 3:59 with 30 seconds. Every one of them hit exit on session close at that time. And they're all pre-programmed, so you don't have to set them up if you live in, let's say, England, for example. You don't have to reset them up. We're set on Eastern time, and they'll go automatically off for you, no problem. Okay, the next setting here, add second trading hour. So if we're running a bot, you would want to have, if you want to have 3 trading hours, you can set these up here to be all extended so that you get 3 different time frames where your bot's trading in. Next setting here is enter on same bar. What that means is if all the conditions are true within that candle and that's clicked on, it'll take the entry within the candle. If you don't want it to, and you want it to be on the bar close, so that you want that candle to have to close, sometimes we want them to close in your direction, for example. You would go ahead and click this one here to enter on the same bar. If not, you want it on bar close, you'd leave it off. Next setting here is reverse trade. So if you want to do a reversion to the mean trade, you could say you're extended, you're extended, you're extended. You see that you're getting too far away from the VWAP. You want to have a reverse entry. So you could pick that right there instead of going long. Even though the trend's going long, it would do a reverse trade, so it would go short. Here you got the option if you only wanted to take long trades or just short trades. You can disable one or the other. I like to keep them both on, but you could disable one or the other. So these are kind of some of the newer ones for the drone bot technology down here now. So if you want to click this on to say you wanted to create a new drone, what that would do is it would go down here to your label, the label of the strategy name, and it would move that to the database right here, this label. That moves it to the AI database, and we give that an ID back there so that then we can then bring it up here in this pull down. If you wanted to create a bot now, you would unclick that, and now you could go get that drone to take the information from it. So the way that works is this is a bot now, and you would pick its drone to go use for its technology. So the concept of the drone and the drone is kind of flying with big stops and targets. And the idea is that it's delivering this data to a database, and now we have ChatGPT and other features in the background doing some mathematics on it, trying to optimize the stops and targets. So, like for example, if you got a 200 tick target on the NQ and you're only hitting 100 ticks and you're always losing, the bot's going to say, "Why are you trying to do 2? Let's go to 100. Let's just go to 100." Or your stop, same thing. So it's always trying to maximize or optimize the stops and targets for the bots based on the drone's feedback. So here, if we were using a bot, we would want to tell it what kind of feature we want it to use. So you have 3 different options. You can either use the stops and the targets, so it'll adjust just stops and targets, or you can have it adjust stops and targets and the times of day. So say example, your drone is winning at between 9:30 and 10:30. It's going to tell the bot only trade 9:30 to 10:30. That's the only time it's successful or whatever. It's smart enough to go back and look in the database and then tell the bot when to jump into the market. And then your third option down here is just a signal. So for example, we have the power play trade. And even here on my ES scalper, we have a signal B and a signal C entry. Your bot could be the smart one and say, "Oh, boom, we've made X amount of money on signal B. We've made X amount on signal C. You're making way more on signal C. Bot only takes signal C." So that's how you could drive your bot just to do the best signal. Would be picking that right there. If you wanted to just optimize the time, you could click that. For the window count, that is, either a 3 or 2 or a 1, and that's on these windows right here, how many windows you want your bot to be trading in if you're using trading hours. The look back is going to be looking back at how many trades you look back to do the math on. In this case, it's 10. For the bot, we want to have it have some boundaries. So we don't want it to go to 0, target or whatever. So we put these boundaries in here for minimums so that it can't go lower than 16 for a stop, and it can't go lower than 16 for a profit target on this case. The model that we're using is a size 10. The maximum time lag, so is a 2. So 2 seconds is the maximum lag time that we allow this one to be able to take a trade. So if price is more than 2 seconds behind, this strategy won't take a trade. Here's a newer feature, price velocity. So let's kind of look at how this might look on a 5-minute chart. So we'll take a look at this ES, and in this case here, I've got an ES saying it's a data series on a 5-minute, and This move duration is how many bars after that, after this case here of 40 ticks. So on a 5-minute chart, I need to at least see 40 ticks before it satisfies this condition. If I have this checked, then I got to satisfy this condition for this entry to come true. So let's take a look. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm just going to do a quick screenshot of it so that we have this information in the background when we want to look at it. But what we're going to look at, we're going to go look at this ES on a 5-minute chart, and I can't do that while this is open. So let me close that. Let's change this data series to a 5-minute. So on a 5-minute chart, I said I'm not going to take a trade unless we have at least 40 ticks of movement in a 5-minute time frame. So here I've got a ruler. So I'm measuring from the, in this case, these measure from the candle open to candle close. So the full extension of the candles, the wicks and all. So in this case, this candle on this ES on the 5-minute, this one moved 40 ticks. So it would have enabled right at this candle. And it said in the background that it would be enabled for 2 bars. So it would, the strategy would be enabled for this bar that it made it true, the next bar, and the next bar. So 2 more bars that strategy would be enabled. After those 2 bars, if it doesn't get the 40 ticks again in the next 5-minute candle, then it will go back to sleep. So we were looking for 40 ticks. There's not many candles on here that would satisfy that. So if we kind of look here, this strategy is just going to be sleeping through all these snoozy candles over here that are no movement at all. That's the real benefit of automation, is it can just sit here and be patient all day long. You know, where I would go crazy watching this chart. This thing's just doing what it's supposed to. Once it sees a 40 tick extension on a 5-minute, it wakes up immediately and starts going to work. So big difference from me and the AutoTrader. Let's go back in here and take some more looks here. So that's the price velocity. That's a newer indicator we created here. The next one is this power play. So this one is very similar to the price velocity, but this one we're looking at basically direction of the 50. So what slope is the 50 on? If it's on this slope, we're going to take long trades. If it's on that slope, we're taking short trades. Let me show you how that might look on this ES chart. So if we were going to look at this 20 Unarenko on the ES chart, we would only take a trade if this is going to be green. So I'm going to go to the data series of the 20 Unarenko, and we're going to look at what color the 50 is. So the 50 is that solid line. So what it would tell us that we're only going to take long trades throughout all this time period. Now, if this would go down, and it just didn't print the 50 back here because I don't have enough bars on the chart, but if I would add more bars, it would print the 50, and the 50 would probably be red over here, so it would only take short trades. So that's how the power play works. The power play works off this green solid line, and it uses a higher time frame. That's the idea behind this, is that you can use a higher time frame to see on a higher time frame, what is our slope? What are we doing? What's the trend doing on a higher time frame, it's called. So that's the spirit of that indicator. So that's the power play. And you have the option on the power play to pick if you want to use, minutes, days, all the different data series you can jump into there. We'll go through now the risk management area real quick. So per strategy or per account, kind of talk about per strategies, only talking about this strategy right here. So whatever settings I have down in here for the daily loss limits, um, oops, I'm sorry, right below it. Whatever I have for the daily loss limits, or profit limit per strategy, it will adhere to these. If I pick per account, so again, this is my NinjaTrader brokerage account. I can run, 3, 4, 5 strategies, individual strategies on this same one account. And I can set these up in here now to say, hey, this money's precious. I don't want to, I only want to, risk $1,000 or invest $1,000 today. So you can put that there, and you can have several strategies run into it by putting per account on each one. You just got to make sure that you got these exactly the same in each one. So each strategy, if you're using per account and you're using now on every strategy down here where you have the account, and you use your, in this case, my NinjaTrader brokerage account, I can set up, 3 strategies with this account, trading to the same exact account. And then up here, it will adhere if this strategy, all 3 of them together, violate my daily loss limit. Let's say each one of them lose 300, then I'm down 900 as the account. Once the, any of them, hit to the 400, that this would be over $1,000 in that account. So this, all 3 strategies turn off. All 3 of them disable in this case, if that was to happen. Okay, trail the session loss limit. So right here, this one is like a trailing stop. So if you go up in price, this one will follow along with you. So this follows right behind you. So if you go up to $1,000, you make $1,000. You have this clicked. If you lose that 1,000, go back to 0, the strategy disables. It's trying to protect the capital. If you go up to 1,800, then you go back down to 800, it's going to stop. So that's the spirit of that one, if you want to have that checked or not. Obviously, if you don't have it checked, it's going to go, hit either limit. It's either going to lose 1,000 or for the day, or you'll make 2,000, or somewhere in between. Right? It'll either stay in between or stop at one of the limits. Next one is the pause trading session. This is after it exits. It's going to look at this and say how long before I can look at for another entry. In this case, it's going to wait 10 seconds. Here, these are the days of the week that you want to trade or enable the strategy. Have it enabled, allowed to trade. You could pick Sundays. We do have a 6 o'clock session starting on the contracts here. On the futures market opens at 6 o'clock on Sundays. You could do that. We don't have any of them with that. Here we got our different signal entries. So we got A, B, C, D, and now I've got an E over here. Just kind of go through them quickly. A is our modified Laguerre over here. So our modified Laguerre, let's get this back into the 4 Uniranko. Kind of like looking at that on the ES. It gives me a nice bird's eye view of what the ES is doing. So anyway, we got this now. This is our chart. Down here, I've got this this indicator. Got 2 of them. So we've got a modified Laguerre here, and we've got a another momentum-based indicator down here, and they both have an RSI line. Now, this one that we use for our signal C is down here at the bottom. This one here we use for signal A and B. So our top one we use for signal A and B, and this one down here we use for our signal C. And then signal D is actually looking at the chart. And then signal E is looking at the VWAP, how far away price is from the VWAP. So A, B, C, D, and E. You can see on this chart here today, my ES scalper, it bought contracts for me automatically. It bought it on a signal C right here. Let me go right to the 8 Unirenko because it'll match the chart. So right after this this blue line, this yellow line popped out of the blue line, signal C fired off, and that took the entry here, closed it up. Right here, signal B. Signal B is when this this top indicator, this lime green line, gets pegged all the way to the top or the bottom, and it puts those triangles on the chart. That's signal B. Signal D, let me show an example of a signal D right here. So signal D is again off a candle, and what we're trying to look for, we're looking for a wick hitting the 15 and crossing the 50. So that same wick, if it hits the 15 and the 50, and price is extended from it, it's going to take a long trade. If it's obviously inverted, it's going to take the short trade. So that's signal D. So let's now go back to the strategy, and we're going to go look at, I believe, the trade management would be the next area that we'd focus on. So we made it through all of these. These are different signals, A, B, C, D, and E. And now we're down into the trade management area. So really where the stops and targets and what kind of action goes on with this particular trade. So let me kind of unpack what this looks like down here. So you can have two different stops and targets. So if you did two contracts, you'd have two different stops and targets. So if you put a number 1 there, that means that you're trading two contracts. You can also put two contracts on just one stop and target. So you can, I mean, you can trade 10, you know, you can put 100 in here, whatever the number is. But we trade typically one on the NQ or the ES, typically, so that you can see kind of how you would scale. If some head edge, you would want to jump in the ring with a little bit more power here. But kind of let's go through the next setting here. This is the stop loss. So this is where you would, price can come all the way back from where you buy it. And if it hits that loss, it'll take you out of the trade. These are all in ticks. So this one's a 40 tick stop loss. This one's a 80 tick profit target. In this case, we're not trailing, but this does have the capability to trail the stop. So that would be basically at 40. It would, if you want to start it at 40, you could put 40 in there and it would follow right along as price moved away from where you bought. This also has a feature, if you put 20 in here, for example, price would have to move away 20, and now you would have a 40 tick trailer. So it allows you to go into a trade with less risk. If you just want to put 10 on there, leave this at 40, it will take away, once it gives 30 ticks away, now you got 40, boom, now that 10 will start moving up as price moves away. The next setting right here is this break-even first target. So what that does is wherever price, if price gets to 20, it's going to move it up, move the stop from negative 40 to a plus 4. So as soon as price hits 20, the stop is going to move to plus 4. So now as price continues to move in our direction towards our profit target, and our profit target's set at 80. What we take is this profit target window minus the profit target. So 40 minus 80 is 40. So once price gets to 40, our stop is going to move to 8. And our leapfrog offset ticks is going to move up 8. So that's kind of how that one works. Our leapfrog offset ticks is the amount that it's going to move away, that our profit target moves away. So once we get to 40 ticks, our profit target's going to move from 80 to 88. And then it's going to kind of leapfrog. If it moves up another 8 ticks, our profit target's going to move it up. So that's the leapfrog. Our smart stop 1 is our overbought or oversold. So it's looking at this indicator right here, our signal C. And whenever this gets above the 80, right here in this RSI, if that gets above 80, that's oversold. If it gets below 20, oops, sorry, wrong way. That's oversold at above 80, and it's overbought is above 80, oversold is below 20. So that's the way that one works. So if you have that on, if you're moving in the direction and then all of a sudden it gets too extended, the move gets too extended, it'll take you out of the trade. That's what it's trying to do there. Smart Stop 2 is our candle pattern recognition. So we have different candle patterns that you can pick in here. Trend strength. This one right here is I guess it does a calculation on how it prints the candle. So we've been picking a 2, and that's been working pretty good. I've tried 3, 4. Don't notice a big difference. So that's kind of that one. Smart Stop 3 is our 15. So this was our momentum-based trailing stop. And so in this case, once we get to 80 ticks, this now will attach the stop to the 15 in this case. So this little dash green line in this case, that's our 15. So if price gets 80 ticks away, it then moves the stop to this 15. And then if the 15 changes colors, it will take you out of the trade. So those are the settings that we have that are somewhat new and valuable for us. The rest are just basic settings with names and different settings. Here's the setting that takes you out of the exit session close. Again, this is in seconds. So the session actually closed at 5 p.m. On every day of the week, but this 3630 is the number of seconds beyond that. So it actually takes you out of the trade at 3:59 with 30 seconds. So those are some of the strategy settings that we have. Let me show you one of the other cool features that's going to be coming to you real shortly if you don't already have it. And this is the ChatGPT trading assistant. So what this will do for you now is you can ask it these questions. I asked it earlier. I said, hey, get me the daily performance of the bots today. Here, let me ask again. So yeah, I just asked it to get a daily performance for the bots today and add all of the metrics. So Um, yeah, do number one. So what it's doing is it's going and talking to my trade database, and it's pulling the data. Just reading this real quick. Or I can use the last full. Okay, we'll do number two. So here's the trade results from today. So today the Steven drone. Steven was hot earlier. Ran up $1,500. Had 7 trades, 4 wins, 1 loss. A couple of them were closes, is why it doesn't show 7 total. It'll only show you how many that the strategy was automated for. If you manually close stuff, the auto strategy doesn't count it. Only things that it automatically opens and closes. So then it kind of gives you the full data analysis. And one of the most clever features that I've kind of uncovered since getting the ChatGPT agent going is this risk ratio. So what that does is it talks about the max drawdown and then how much profit you had. So in this case, you invested or risked $750 to make 1,532. So it's a kind of like a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. In this case, I didn't lose any trades on this particular one. It took 2 trades. One must have been the other one got closed. It must have closed it for a little bit of a profit. So that didn't have any losers. Looks like we had a few that didn't have any losers. Here's one where the risk ratio is below 1. So this would be not ideal. The reason is it made 482, but it took $513 of investment to make it. So that's one feature that I've learned with the new AI assistant is how to look at the data differently. And in this case, I've almost exclusively moved to the ES because our risk ratio is much, much better on our ES strategies. These NQs we have trading, but we take a lot of trades. Right here's a good example. I love this strategy. I trade it all the time, but it's not the best one to trade. Like the risk ratio is not good. It had a $2,000 drawdown. It made $1,200, but I invested 2,000 to get it. So that's what the risk ratio does. It kind of changed my whole trading style since getting the Chat GPT agent going. So hopefully it'll help us be more profitable and make money and have fun. So hopefully you guys got something out of the video today. If you did, please give me a like or a comment down below in the chat. Appreciate everybody joining us here at Right Line Trading. Have a great day. Good luck trading. Bye now.